Hey there, so I've been making plushies for a while and I wanted to share the whole process on how I make the plushies. I'm going to start with this fantasy theme that I've been wanting to make. And the first thing I do is I use my iPad to sketch. You do not need an iPad, you can draw in paper, whatever you have. That's how I started in paper with my computer, messing around. Here I have a rough sketch that I'm making, and then I go over with a different brush just to give it the finish that I want. So I'm going to be changing a little bit here, a little bit there. I do use this program. It's called Procreate. It has several brushes that you can use, customize, and change. But anyways, I will be adding the details for the unicorn, and I decided to do it in this color. The reason is because I cannot make it fully white, because when I transfer it to the computer, I usually convert it into a SVG. So if I do that, I will just blend white. So I have to make it in different colors. I'm going to start adding the other details for the tail. I wanted to do four basic colors. Well, four colors for this unicorn. I want to use pink, blue, purple, and yellow, but you can also use different colors as well. One recommendation that I have is that if you are making any sketch, either is in this app or in any other drawing software, always use your layers for every object. You can merge them at the end. The reason for this is that if you make a mistake, you will have to delete the whole thing. And if you make layers, you just delete that layer, start over, you can modify it by itself. Anyway, so I'm adding the eyes. I wanted to also add a small blush dot here to make it cute. And I will be using the same thing that I use for the tail. I'm just gonna copy and paste, and I'm gonna move around the colors until I have the result that I want. I did have to shift the colors here and there so they didn't overlap one with the other. And for this, I'm doing applique, so I don't want to fill out the whole thing with stitching because it makes it look heavier and it takes longer to make too. So that's something that I consider when I'm sketching the images, like, oh, which parts do I want to actually stitch and which ones I'm going to do applique. Here I just hand drew a star and I'm just filling in the spaces. I'm making it a little bit more round so it looks nicer. One thing that I forgot to explain here is about the ears. The ears, everything will be white, but I wanted the ear to be a little bit darker because when I'm using my software for digitizing, it will merge all the colors together, so I have to use different colors if they are so close together. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. I'm gonna save it into the files where I have this, then go to my computer, change it into a SVG, which I do with Illustrator. And once I have the SVG, I'm gonna go ahead and go to this program that I use, that I've been using for a while and I know how to use it more, and it's called SewArt. This is a program that you actually, I think it's like $50-$60, but it's pretty helpful when you're learning, starting like your digitizing career or journey. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the stitch mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and select everything that I want to be applique, or like that I would just want a simple stitch, a running stitch. So I'm gonna use pretty much everything, all the colors, and the other things are gonna be filled in are the eyes, the horn, the blush, and the ear part. Everything else will be different. So here I'm changing the angle for each stitch so it doesn't pull the fabric into the same direction. And I'm changing the default stitch for the horn. It doesn't show here for some reason. I'm not sure why. Also at the beginning I forgot to mention that I did change the measure the size of the design into 4.9. That's what I'm making my plushie size. You can make it any size you want, but that's something to remember before you actually start digitizing. Completely forgot. Anyways, it's already stitching. That's how it looks like. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. This is what it will look like once it's on the material you're gonna use. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And now I'm gonna delete all the stitches and I'm gonna fill in all the colors the same color. The reason I'm doing this is to make the border of the unicorn the same, like a running stitch around, right? So I'm gonna select that and it's gonna save as a running stitch. I'm gonna save it as I usually do. Like for example, if it's unicorn out, which means is the outline of the unicorn. The next step I'm going to do, I'm gonna go to SewWhat just to fix stitches. You do not need to do this step. I just like doing it because I don't like to have, I don't know if you know the first one. If you notice, the first one has a bunch of inner stitches that I do not like. So I like to have just one stitch. So I like to go into this, fix little things like maybe these little gaps in between the objects that I go and fix with the stitch repair. I don't remember what the actual tool name is, but that's what I do. It just makes it nicer for me. I like to be very, very detail oriented when it comes to it. So I just fix it. I use the control tool and the control key on my keyboard and I drag the dots and that's basically where the stitch will go. So make sure to select the color you're actually editing. And sometimes there's also these gaps that for some reason are left with the design. So I just try to fix those so there's not like double lines or double stitches. It makes it better visually for me. I'm going to select also the outline and I'm going to go ahead and use this eraser. Make sure that it's selected and that's where I'm going to fill in the plushie. So now the next step is just go ahead and start embroidering. I'm using felt for the plushies, adding all the little details step by step. You can arrange the steps and SewWhat. So I'm just gonna follow the steps. Here is adding all the little details and once it's done, I'm gonna take it off the hook. I'm gonna cut it. I'm going to go ahead and add this string if I'm using a string for the plushie, and then fill it up with polyfill. Is hypoallergenic. So I'm gonna go ahead with the help of a pencil that has no hasn't been sharpened. I'm going to go ahead and push all the polyfill in, make sure it's fluffy and cute. Be careful to not push too hard so you don't pull your stitches out. So just be gentle, but make sure to fill it up. It looks really nice when it's fluffy. I will recommend in the edge where the hole is to leave a little gap so it's not overfilled and you can actually sew. Here is a little bit fluffier than usual, but it's fine. It works. Just go slowly with your sewing machine, and that's just how I make my plushies. There are other things that you can make. I'm gonna put these files so you can get them on my website. And yep, that's how I make them. I make a couple more for the fantasy theme that I'm planning on making a crib mobile for it. But you can totally use this for Christmas too. They will look really cute for you kids if they create a Christmas tree for their room or for their space. That will be perfect. I hope you enjoy this quick tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be checking and see if I can respond to them quickly. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.